One of the biggest travesties in NFL history is the fact that Michael Vick, in his prime, went to prison for multiple years for something that in America shouldn't really be a crime. Look, as someone who's vegan and doesn't support animal cruelty, I find what he did or knew of, it's kind of murky on the details. I find it immoral and I find it irresponsible. But the average American, 99% of Americans who are not vegan, can't really say a word about Michael Vick. The average American not only supports animal cruelty, but they partake in it and support it monetarily on a daily basis. You see all these people saying Michael Vick is the worst guy ever, and people, were supporting him going to prison. It's like, look, he had some culpability. People were fighting dogs at his house. He wasn't even fighting them, but let's just say for the sake of it, he was responsible for dogs dying. The average American is responsible for cows, pigs, deer, fish, etc. What's the difference? I don't support any of them being killed for pleasure. But if you can kill a deer for fun, or if you can kill a cow for fun, and before any of you say, well, I eat them, it doesn't matter. In the United States, you don't need to eat meat to survive. So if you're eating meat, it's for one, convenience, for two, pleasure. Those are the only two options. It's not for survival. It's not to meet your protein needs. It's for convenience and for pleasure. And Michael Vick, let's hypothetically say, let's give him the worst possible interpretation and say that he just loved to see dogs fight. So he was watching them fight for pleasure. What's the issue? I have an issue with it, but you watching probably don't. You don't have a moral leg to stand on when you go to the supermarket and pay someone else to slaughter a cow or a pig. Look, can you really say anything? Can you really say anything to Michael Vick about how he's immoral when you do the same exact thing? And there really isn't a good argument on why abusing dogs is wrong, which I agree it is, if you abuse pigs, which are smarter, which are more sentient. It's like, what metric are we going to look at? There really isn't anything. Like, legitimately, there isn't anything. If you're fine killing a pig for your own pleasure, at the end of the day, it's for your own pleasure, whether you like it or not, because you don't need to pay someone to slaughter it. I don't see how you could have any issue with Michael Vick. So look, at the end of the day, I don't support what he did, obviously. I don't support any animal cruelty. But I do find it ridiculous that in a country where the 99% of the citizens support animal cruelty, both monetarily, emotionally, spiritually, are we really, I can cast stones on him, but I'm not going to. But are those people really going to cast stones from a glass building?